Hello and welcome to the Beledorian's reaction to the EA conference. If you haven't seen my previous video on the Microsoft, I explain a little bit about what's going on. Please do check that out and like it, etc. It really helps me. But I'm moving on to the EA conference now. This one started out with a big bang. Mass Effect sized big bang. It was massive. It just turned up and was just like, yeah, here's Mass Effect Andromeda. There's the title. Expect it late next year. So it just looks like something where we're going to be going through a new galaxy, going to be exploring, so we're not going to be stuck in a world where we have to learn the lore of all the aliens around us and learn all the issues that are going on. I mean, that was cool, and it worked really well in 1, and then it kind of worked quite well in 2, and then by 3 we were like, I don't want to learn anymore, I want to just play, I know the stuff, stop bringing stuff up. But this one looks interesting. This is going to be new aliens, new planets, new things, and the Mako makes a return, finally. It was one of those mechanics that looked good, and it looked really good. It didn't control very well, but the idea was so good, and they went, yeah, let's get rid of it for the next 2. I just don't know how to fix it. So, let's hope they fixed it. Let's hope they sorted things out. Maybe it's just same controls, but maybe it's a bit more reactionary. Maybe it sort of functions a bit quicker. You know, we only saw a quick glimpse of it, but Mako confirmed. Then they moved on to Need for Speed. Need for Speed has finally found out where it lives. It lives as a dark, underground style street racing game. I loved Need for Speed when I was younger. It's not something that I'm interested in now, but I like the idea of the human footage, real life, straight into game, seamless transition. That looked really interesting. If you like Need for Speed, then finally they look like they're getting back into position of where they should be. Then they moved on to Star Wars The Old Republic expansion that's coming out. And I'm a big MMO player, and I thought this game had kicked it ages ago, but they were talking about this being the 4th expansion and stuff, and I'm like, and it's coming out for their subscribers and things. I'm like, you have subscribers? Okay. When I get my PC back, I'll download the game. I'll see where it's at the moment. I loved it originally. I got to the end of the first max level and there was nothing to do, and they kept saying, oh, it's coming out in a couple of months, coming out in a couple of months, and I went, you know what is out now? World of Warcraft and that stuff. So I went back to it, and I haven't come back. I keep doing that with WoW. But anyway, the Star Wars expansion, the video, cinematic video looked great, as all the MMO videos usually do. Very interesting to see that basically they're starting again with it. Hopefully that's a very good thing. So I'm really excited. I'll probably create a new character, probably go back, see what I can do. And then moved on to Unravel. A little bit Planet clone, slightly. At least aesthetically, it looked a bit odd. It didn't quite look right. It kind of had like the traditional gameplay of that kind of genre, you know, like how Ori and the Blind Forest had all those extra hooks and, you know, Rayman, etc, etc, etc. They all, like the platformers, they all have that kind of stuff. So it just looked very generic. I was quite worried that it looks like when you run out of yarn, you're going to die? Is that a thing? Because there's a point where he looks really thin. That would be sad. And then you just literally unravel. I don't know. I'm not that enthralled by it. Then they moved on to the sports. Now everybody's been complaining about the sports, but we have to remember that EA's biggest property is their sports games. So at this time, if you are going to watch the conference, make sure you bring a teddy bear, make sure you get all nice and cuddly, and then you can go to sleep and then wake up when all the rubbish is over. okay. I'm okay with sports games. I quite enjoy them. I don't like playing sports myself, but I like playing games. They brought out NBA Live, where they brought out this guy called the Hoop God, probably some sort of YouTuber or something. It's clearly not something that I would ever follow. Because he turned up for 10 seconds and was like, yeah, and then left. I was like, okay. They showed the new face tech with Hoop God. Doing it by phones now, which I guess makes it work if you haven't got a camera. So it'll be fine if you've got a Kinect or a PlayStation Eye. It looked like it worked, but then again, so did last year's one, and we all know what happened there, with bits of face just falling through the floor and just like scrunching. It was horrifying. If you're interested in your horror games, buy NBA Live, the last one, 15 I think it was called, because they do it in the wrong years. I don't know. It's mad. It's probably going to be pretty bad, because the reason why nobody bought the last one was because there was the 2K games are about, and the 2K15 was out at the time, and it was revered really good, and then EA brought out, they're like, yeah, we're back in the NBA, and it's like, yeah, let's do this, and it was nowhere near the quality. So they haven't been developing the system as well as 2K have been. They will catch up. Whether they catch up this one, time will tell. But it's certainly not one to pre-order. Don't pre-order it. Definitely never pre-order any of EA games. Maybe Mass Effect. But yeah. Then he moved on to Golf, which is coming out very, very soon. I've seen it in the shops as a pre-order, like the actual physical copy, so it's coming soon. Frostbite engine, which obviously is one of the most powerful game engines currently. And they showed like fantasy golf courses and everything. I love golf, and I love playing my golf games. And these fantasy courses, they look like they were almost generating there and then. I don't know whether there's going to be instantly generated or whatever. I haven't really been following the game. But what I do know is, like 2 years ago when they first announced this kind of stuff was happening, they had like a big battleship crashing into the golf course and things. I hope that stays in it. I mean, there was a crashed battleship in the video over somewhere else, but I don't know whether it's going to play a part. I'd be very interested. Keep an eye on it. See where it goes. Then they showed some more Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I've explained in the previous video that I really liked it. I'm still not sure whether it's going to be worthy of being a sequel. If they are going to do it, I would rather it be an expansion. I'd rather slap down 15 quid and just go, downloadable expansion, give me 8 new classes, and let me continue. 8 new classes, loads of maps and game zones. Yeah, game modes and whatever. I'd be up for that. And then they move back to sport. They had this really awkward interview with Pele, who's a massive, like, one of the greatest footballers of all time. He came out on stage. He was barely understandable. He was talking about stuff, and you could just see the interview was like, get back on track, get back on track, talk about the game, talk about the game, talk about stuff. Yeah, it's a beautiful game, you came up with it, do it, bring it back. And Pele was just going, oh, well, there was one time I was doing a boo. And you're like, I don't know what you're saying. I've got headphones on, like really good, like 60 quid headphones, and I can't understand what you're saying. Maybe I'm just silly or whatever. And again, lots of expected tweaks are coming to the game, but what they are doing is they're bringing in female teams, which is probably going to be a bit of a gimmick, which is really sad for the female community who love football. But at least it doesn't look like it's going to be as bad as the last NFL game, not NFL, NHL game, where they had 4 for the female characters. It was just a white girl, a black girl, an Asian girl, and another white girl. It was like, that's so bad. But this one looks like they've got the real players in, at least for the international stuff. So let's go with it and hope that they keep going with that and keep building on that. You may notice that I've skipped a big part of the conference, which I was going to try and skip the whole time, but I just can't do it. There's a lady walked out and she went, "Let's talk about mobile games." And everybody around the world went, "Let's not. Okay? Let's just talk about real games, real things. I'd rather you talk about FIFA for a little while. Rather you talk about anything." And she came out and she went, "We've got loads of mobile games coming, yada yada yada. Here's this Minions game where you get to meet there's was this Bob or whatever his name was? Something's boring." And they're like, "Now you get to build your little tiki hut, and then you need to get coconuts, and then eventually you can build a slide. But we all know what happens. We're probably going to need to pay £90 to buy all of the coins, to get all the stuff, or to rush the buildings if you even want to care. Otherwise, you have to play for 10 seconds every hour." Yeah, no. Just no. Moving on to the real stuff. Like, all the way through the conference, they were constantly going, "Later, we'll be talking about Mirror's Edge. Later, Star Wars." In fact, even at the bottom, they had 15 minutes to Mirror's Edge. And then when that was next, Mirror's Edge, 15 minutes to Star Wars. You're like, okay, just tell us. Literally the only reason we're watching this. We didn't know about Mass Effect turning up, but it's coming out in like the end of next year, so we didn't even need that. We just need these two things. Tell us these two things. And they came out with Mirror's Edge and went, here it is, a prequel, which obviously Catalyst made sense. They brought that out and said, no levels, no loading screens, completely free running. Yes. Mirror's Edge, so frustrating, like sometimes, but it was a proof of concept more than anything. And the story was quite there. It was interesting. It wasn't like the most interesting thing. It was the proof of concept of the free running could work. And they've taken many years off to make sure that they can do this one. It's going to be much larger. It's going to be brilliant. Don't pre-order it. EA. Wait for the reviews. It's probably going to come out like on average 7 or 8. Don't listen to review scores either. I personally think that if somebody says it's good, then it's obviously going to be good to somebody else. If somebody says it's bad, it's going to be bad to somebody else. Just wait, see how it goes, follow it. Then they brought out Star Wars Battlefront, and they did this thing where they basically had the pictures, and they were going, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. And you're just thinking, do I have to get my teddy bear out? Am I going to have to sleep through the one thing that I was actually really excited for? Then they went, no. You want gameplay? And we were like, yeah, we do. Bring it on. And they brought out this gameplay, and you must watch this. This genuinely looks really good. Like, they've really sort of got this, like, flight going in through. They've got the AT-ATs, which they were calling AT-ATs. I need to rewatch the films because I'm getting confused now because I've always called it AT-AT in my head. And then somebody on the stage called it an AT-AT and somebody else called it an AT-AT. I was very confused. But yeah, it was a specific mission where the Empire were trying to follow the AT-AT, and they had the walkers that made the sound of like a dying pig whenever they died. There was all that, and then the rebels were coming out, and then they had Darth Vader come out. Obviously, he's like the nuke in Call of Duty, but then Luke came out. Luke Skywalker, really good face generating thing of Luke Skywalker. That looked brilliant. And then they had a fight. It was very short. It was like a teaser. The footage looks great. Still doesn't hide from the fact that we're missing all the kind of stuff that we want from it. Like space battles. Like they've clearly got the flight going. So space battles are clearly going to come into it. They're clearly going to be DLC. It's going to be some sort of expansion because it's EA. Now, that's disheartening, but hopefully it's big enough to warrant it. But yeah, it was good footage. Go watch it. I'm really thrilled by it. EA's conference overall was boring as hell. It was really boring to watch it. I hope that I've made it slightly a bit more interesting. But it had like 3 things that were very interesting. So, yeah, they showed up and they did their typical EA thing. I guess they just weren't expecting like to follow Microsoft, who brought out one of the best conferences we've ever seen. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll come back with the Ubisoft one. Thank you. Now I'll see you.